Good morning, all of you. Welcome back to our course Big Data Analytics and Business Intelligence. So, our today's topic is Introduction to MapReduce. In previous lecture, we discussed about Hadoop HDFS. So, we know that in case of a Hadoop framework, there are two major components are there. One is a HDFS and second one is a MapReduce. So, we discuss about HDFS. We have seen how HDFS help us to store our data in a distributed format at multiple machine. We have seen an example how we have divided one file into multiple sub files, and that is being stored at a multiple location. So the major role played by HDFS is it allows us to store a big data in distributed fashion. Now we want to process that particular big data which is stored in the distributed fashion, and for that purpose we are going to use the concept of MapReduce. So in today's lecture we will throw more light on MapReduce. So what is MapReduce? So MapReduce is a data processing tool which is used to process the data parallelly in a distributed environment. So here the word distributed environment is very important, because what is the main aim of a MapReduce? To process the big data which is stored by using SDFS in multiple nodes. So processing of data is very important thing, and for that processing we are using a MapReduce. So why MapReduce? Why do we need of a MapReduce in a Hadoop framework? So the thing is that your data is present at multiple location. Okay, you have one big file, one big data file that is being divided into a number of sub parts, and that is present at a multiple location. So in order to process a data which is present at a multiple location, native client application like Java is not suitable to process the data. What I told you, that native application just like a Java is not able to process a data which is present at a multiple location or in a distributed environment. So in order to process that data which is stored in a multiple nodes, we require a framework, and we require a component that is called as a MapReduce. So that is what the importance of MapReduce. And it is useful for performing large scale data analysis using multiple machines in the cluster, because we have seen that Hadoop mostly we are using to deal with a big data. Big data is present in the form of mostly in form of unsaturated form. So in order to process that data we are going to use the MapReduce concept. So as I told you that native application like a Java alone not able to process the data, but Hadoop is capable of running MapReduce programs which are written in various programming language. For example, Java, Ruby, Python and C++. That means alone that language is not able to process the data, but when that language is integrated with a MapReduce concept, at that time that particular language can helps to process the data. So this is what a simple diagram which shows you the main aim of a Hadoop, main aim of a MapReduce framework. So here we have seen a big data which is stored in a HDFS file structure at multiple location. Then we have Hadoop MapReduce which help us to process the data and get the output and get the final output stored in the location. So this is what a main use of a MapReduce. Then we talk about overview of a MapReduce. This is a generalized diagram. I have taken this diagram from Udureka. So this gives you overview of a MapReduce. So here you can see MapReduce is used for indexing and search. It is also used for classification purpose. It is also being used by used for recommendation purpose by many e-commerce websites such as Flipkart, Amazon is there. Then it is also used for analytics purpose, that is again used by most of the social networking site as well as e-commerce site. So MapReduce is used for this many purpose. Similarly, MapReduce have various feature. It provides a programming model which consists of map phase and the reduce phase. So map phase basically divide your data into a key value pair, and reduce phase helps to aggregate the data. Then MapReduce also help us to for large scale distribution model, and it is also used for parallel programming. So these are the features of a MapReduce. Then MapReduce functions, there are two major functions are used in the MapReduce. One is a map and second is a reduce. Just I told you, map will divide your input data into a key value pair. Then after performing several actions such as splitting is there, shuffling is there, reduce function will be there, which will reduce the data, which will aggregate the data, which will aggregate the output given by map function, and it helps to reduce it or aggregate it. So then MapReduce design patterns are there. MapReduce in the design pattern, for example, summarization, classification, recommendation, analytics by using join and selection, recommendation by using sort, classification of a top and record, summarization of inverted index. Then MapReduce is implemented by most of the companies. It is implemented by Google. Similarly, MapReduce is implemented by Apache Hadoop along with the HDFS for processing of data, along with the Pig, along with the Hayu, and along with the HBase, which has NoSQL database such as NoSQL database. So this is a broad overview of a MapReduce. Then next one is, what are the advantages and or you can say benefits of a MapReduce. Very first advantage is parallel processing. So you know that there are two types of processing: traditional processing, normal processing, and parallel processing. So in case of, suppose this diagram, will take a help of this diagram to explain the concept of normal processing and parallel processing. Suppose we consider the scenario of normal processing. So in that case, what will happen? Suppose I have one master node and I have these 5 slave node, A, B, C, D, E, E, A, B, C, D, and E. So in the normal processing, what we are going to do, all these slave node will submit their task to master node, and master node alone will perform that particular task. So it requires more processing time, because the work of processing is done only by the master node itself. So this is what a normal processing. So what is the problem in normal processing? In normal processing, as data is processed centrally, so it takes more time, it takes more processing power. So this is what a problem face in a normal processing. But exactly opposite to normal processing, there is a parallel processing. So in parallel processing, what we are going to do, that centralized node is going to distribute the task to different these 5 slave. So that task is divided into slave A, B, C, D, and E. Here you can see data is divided into 5 sub files, and that is being allocated to 5 different tasks. Now 5 different nodes. Now these 5 different nodes can process the data by their own. So ultimately it will save your time, because we have seen that, suppose in order to process one task, we required 5 hours for execution. But suppose we use the concept of parallel processing, we can able to do this particular task within a 1 hour. How? So the task is divided into 5 subtasks and assign it to different node. Then this node A, B, C, D, E will process the data and submit the result to the master node, and then that master node combine or aggregate this result, combine the and formulate the final result. So in this way, parallel processing not only save your time, but it also helps to reduce the processing power. Reduce the processing power means what? Suppose we are not using parallel processing, my master node should be very powerful. So in that case, somehow we reduce the capacity, means processing power capacity, means ultimately individual node is contributing in processing of that data, so it increase the speed of the processing. Now the second benefit is data locality. Data locality means what? We are transferring the processing to storage. Now we understand what is the concept of data locality. See, as we have seen in case of HDFS, our data is not stored at one location, but our data is stored at a multiple location. Here you can see your data. So our data is not stored at one place, but our data is stored at a multiple locations. Say my data is stored at A, B, C, D, and E. Now what about processing? So in order to process the data, what are the choices that are available with me? So the choice is that I need to aggregate all this data at the master node, and then I will process the data. But just now we have seen the difference between normal processing and parallel processing. So we come to know that parallel processing is more beneficial, because ultimately it save the time. It save the time of a processing. So data locality means what? Instead of bringing the data from multiple node to this master node, we are what we are doing, we are keeping the data as it is at the different nodes only, but we are transferring the processing to these slave nodes, or these multiple nodes. That means transfer the processing means what? The We are going to transfer the logic for processing that particular data is being transferred to the multiple node. That means we are not shifting our data from slave node to master node. Instead of this, what we are doing, we are transferring the processing logic to that respective slave node, so that slave node can make use of this processing logic and process the data. And once the data is processed, whatever the result will be there, that result will be submitted by all these node to the master node. So this is how the data locality. In case of a data locality, we are not changing the location of data. The location of data remains as it is. Wherever the data is stored at multiple location, that will remain as it is, but we are transferring the processing logic from master node to the slave node. Then slave node make use of this particular logic, process the data. Once it will get the output, that output is transferred back to the master node, and then master node will aggregate or combine all these particular result, and finally we'll get the final output. So this is what a concept of data locality, where we are transferring our processing power to the different nodes. Now next benefit of MapReduce is that it is easy to scale data processing over multiple computing node. That means MapReduce allows us to increase the scalability. How? Here we can add more than one node also. Here currently I have 5 nodes are there, so I can add more node also. So it's totally depend on master. It's depend on the distance that it is being decided by the master where to process that particular data. So this is what means easily scalable. MapReduce is somehow easily scalable. You can scale to multiple nodes. Not only in this case, in this scenario we have 5 nodes, so you can increase it to 10, 15 and so on. So depending on the type of task, depending on the complexity of task, so that will be decided by the master. So these are the various benefits of a MapReduce. Now next one is, what are the different companies who are using this MapReduce concept? Amazon is one of the e-commerce website. They are using MapReduce for analytics purpose. They are using it for processing purpose. Again, eBay is there. This is another e-commerce company which is using for finding the article by description. Google search engine, it is used for finding the relevant pages related to particular topic. LinkedIn, professional networking site for big data storage and generalize the generating the personalized recommendation. Troviet, this is again vertical search engine for finding the jobs. And Twitter, this is again social networking site for finding the messages. So these are the various companies which are making use of MapReduce concept. Again, I want to say that these are not the only company. Other companies are also there which are making use of a MapReduce concept. Now next one is MapReduce phases. As we have seen, there are two phases involved in the MapReduce concept. One is a map, second one is a reduce. So here input is submitted to map. Map will divide it into key value pair, then it will assign it to reduce. Reduce will aggregate or combine, and finally we'll get the output. So we'll see in detail. Now MapReduce architecture. What is the architecture of a MapReduce? So here we have seen that MapReduce is used on top of SDFS layer, because initially we have SDFS layer where we have discussed two important things. One is a name node and second one is a data node. Name node is present at a master node which take care of all the thing where means how to divide the, how to split the file, with in how many node we have to keep that particular sub file. So that will be decided by the name node. So we have seen that each file is split into a size, by default size of 128 MB, and it is being replicated at least at 3 location. So all these details will be kept by the name node. So we have SDFS layer where we have name node and data node. Data node is a slave node which is present at slave machine. So we have master slave architecture in this particular Hadoop framework. So on top of the in top of the SDFS layer, there is a MapReduce layer. So in case of MapReduce layer, mostly we are making use of this two things. One is a task tracker and second one is a job tracker. So in the master node we have job tracker. Okay, in the master node we have job tracker, and in the slave node we have task tracker. So what is the role of job tracker? Job tracker is a master node which manages the job and resources in the cluster. That means for job scheduling, that job tracker will be useful. Job tracker try to schedule each map as close to the actual data being processed. And then the task tracker, these are the slave that are deployed on each machine, and they are responsible for running the MapReduce task as instruction given by the as instruction given by the task tracker, sorry, job tracker. So job tracker, we can say coordinator, who will assign the task to the number of slaves by means of task tracker. Task tracker is the actual worker who works, who is going to run this MapReduce processing at the various client side or various node. So this is what a role of a job tracker. So in case of a SDFS layer, mostly we have name node and data node, and top of the SDFS layer we have MapReduce layer where we have the concept of job tracker and task tracker. Job tracker will assign the task to the task tracker. Task tracker is present at the slave node. So this is what a MapReduce architecture. Now next we'll take a simple example to understand this. So before discussing the example, first of all you should know the execution sequence followed in the MapReduce. So suppose we have input data that is being given to the map. First of all it partition, then it will be given to the map, then shuffling and sorting of that data will take place, then it is being passed to the reduce, and then finally we get the output. Now actually we'll discuss the example. Will discuss the example so that you will understand how MapReduce will work. So suppose we have input data. My input data is there. There are 3 lines are present in my one text file. This is what my input. First of all, split operation is being going to perform. So in this case, split operation is performed based on the new line character. So there are total 3 lines are there. So we have divided this into 3 list through different sub files. So dear beer river, this is first list or sub file, this one is second, and this one is second. So here we perform split operation. In case of split operation, we have split this large file into 3 sub file. After that, dividing this into 3 sub file, we'll submit it to map. So in actually map, what is the role of map? Map function will divide your input data into key value pair. So in this case, dear is what my key and 1 is what my value. So there are 3 sub file. For this sub file I apply map function. So here I can see deer comma 1, beer comma 1, river comma 1. So deer, beer, river, these are the key, whereas 1 is treated as a value. That means how many occurrences are there in this particular line. Deer is appeared for 1, that's why it is given 1. Beer is appeared only for 1, so 1 is given. River is also present for 1, so it is given as a 1. Similarly, same logic is applied for rest of the 2 line. Car 1, again this for car 1, river 1, deer 1, car 1, beer 1. Now you may have question why we have not combined it, because in case of map we are only dividing your data into key value pair. Though it can be a repeated data, later on we will combine it, later on we are going to aggregate it, but during the map function, whatever will be the line, whatever will be the file, its task is to divide into key value pair. After dividing this, next phase is shuffling. So in case of shuffling, you may observe that we need to consider these three sub file, and then we have to shuffle it. Here you can see the data is arranged in a particular order: beer, car, deer, and river. Now how will you get this beer 1 comma 1? What is the meaning of it? So here you can see arrow is given from this particular sub file. Beer is present, so it will contribute beer comma 1, and then again beer is not present in second sub file, but beer is present in the third sub file. So from here this one, that's why it is written beer comma 1 comma 1. So this one is representing for this sub file, and second one is representing for this sub file. Similarly, same logic is applied over here. Car is present in second sub file, so there are two occurrences coming from the car. This one is a first occurrence, this one is a second occurrence, and third occurrence is coming from the third sub file. That's why in this case you observe this car 1 comma 1 comma 1. That means there are three occurrences are there. Two occurrences coming from subfile 2, and third occurrence is coming from third subfile. Similarly for deer, you can observe here there are two occurrences of deer. First occurrence is coming from first subfile, and second occurrence is coming from the second file. That's why here you will see deer 1 comma 1. Finally we have river. From first sub file there is one occurrence, and from second sub file there is another occurrence. So there is no occurrence in the third sub file. That's why we have written river 1 comma 1. So this is how shuffling operation is performed. After shuffling, there is a reduce operation. So what reduce operation will do, it will combine or it will aggregate the output that is given by the map. Means whatever the output generated by map function, that will be submitted to the reduce function. Reduce function will reduce it. Now here it will measure the number of occurrence. How many ones are there? 2. So here we are going to write beer comma 2. There are two occurrences for beer. Similarly, how many occurrences are there for car? There are three occurrences. That's why we have written car comma 3. Here how many occurrences for deer? There are two occurrences for deer. So here we have written deer comma 2. Then finally, in case of a river, there are two occurrences of river. So here we have written river comma 2. So in this way reduce function will work. It will combine the number of occurrence for particular key, and it will obtain the result for this 4 subfile. And finally what we'll do, we'll combine all these output generated by reduce, so that you will get the final result. So finally I will say beer 2, car 3, deer 2, and river 2. So this is what my input I have provided, and this is what the output that I will get. So this is a simple word count program. So in this case we have provided one text file as a input, and my intention is to count the occurrence for each word. How many times particular word is repeated, that I want to count. This is what my aim. So that I have done with the help of map reduce function. This is my input, and this is what my final output is there, and this is what a processing that we have done with the help of map and reduce. So what map has actually done, it has divided your input data into a key value pair, whereas reduce will reduce the data. Means it will apply the reduction, it will apply the combination, it will apply the aggregation, it will combine the data, and finally you are getting the output. So I hope you understand the concept of map reduce. So in today's lecture we discuss about what is map reduce, why we should use a map reduce. Then we discuss about brief overview of map reduce. Then we discuss what are the benefits of a map reduce. After that we discuss about what are the different companies that are making use of map reduce concept. Then we see what are the phases involved in a map reduce. One is a map, and second one is a reduce. Then we have seen the actual architecture of map reduce on top of the SDFS layer, which make use of a job tracker and task tracker. Job tracker is present at map node, which assign a task to the slave node by means of task tracker. Task tracker is actual worker which is present at the slave node. Then we have seen the execution sequence. Execution sequence is simple: input, perform split operation or partition, assign it to map, then shuffle this, arrange this data in a specific order. In this case this data is arranged in the ascending order. Here you can see beer, car, deer, river. Then apply reduce function, and finally you will get the output. So here we'll stop, and in next lecture we'll discuss more about map reduce. Thank you.